7 History. Good morning children. Today I am going to discuss the lesson History Unit 2 Art and Architecture of Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, the evaluation of temple architecture took place in 5 stages. The Pallava Epoch, early Chola Epoch. Epoch means period. Okay, the Pallava period, early Chola period, later Chola period, Vijayanagara and Nayak period, modern period. Okay, these are the 5 stages. First, let us see learning objectives. To understand the temple architecture in South India, to gain knowledge about the cultural heritage of Tamils, to know the contribution of Pallavas, Cholas, Vijayanagara and Nayak rulers to the development of temple art in Tamil Nadu. First, let us see Pallava Epoch. The Pallava period is a transition from rock cut to freestanding temples. The Pallava period transition means changes from rock cut to freestanding temples. Rock cut means temples were initially built by carving a rock to the required design and then rocks were cut to build temples. The Pallava king Mahendravarman was a pioneer in rock cut architecture. Mandagapattu temple was the first rock cut temple built by Mahendravarman. The rock cut cave structure has 2 pillars in the front that hold it. Next, let us see the shore temple. The shore temple at Mahabalipuram, also called the 7 pagodas, that means 7 temples, was built by the Pallava king Narasimhavarman II. It is the oldest structural temple in South India. The structural temples were built using blocks of rock instead of a whole block. Narasimhavarman II, also known as Narasimha, built the Kanji Kailasanatha temple. The Vaikunda Perumal temple at Kanjipuram was built by Narasimhavarman II. Mahabalipuram is built of cut stones. It has 2 shrines, that means a place of worship, one dedicated to Shiva and the other to Vishnu. The Tamil Dravidian architecture is represented by rock cut monuments like Panchapandava Rathas. Panchapandava Rathas are namely Draupadi Ratha, Dharmaraja Ratha, Bhima Ratha, Arjuna Ratha and Nahula Sahadeva Ratha. The outer walls of Rathas, especially of Arjuna, Bhima and Dharmaraja, are decorated with niches and motifs. Niches and motifs means decorating with designs. The niches have the sculptures of gods and goddesses. The Arjunan's fans carved on the face of a granite boulder. Boulder means a very large rock. Is a magnificent relief measuring approximately 100 feet long by 45 feet height. The Mahabalipuram monuments and temples, including the shore temple complex, were notified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 1984. Next, let us see Pandya temples in the Pallava Epoch. Early Pandyas were the contemporaries of the Pallavas. Contemporaries means living at the same time. More than 50 cave temples have been found in different parts of the Pandyan Empire. The most important of them are found in Malayadi, Kurinchi, Aanaimalai, Tirupparankunram and Tiruchirappalli. These caves were dedicated to Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma. In the Shiva temple of Pandyas, the linga is carved out of the mother rock. The figure of Nandi is also carved out of the rock. Rock cut and structural temples are significant part of the Pandya architecture. Rock cut style is unfinished Kalugumalai Vettuvan Kovil temple. The Vettuvan Kovil, a monolithic temple at Kalugumalai, is shaped and cut. Hue means shaped and cut out of a huge boulder on 4 sides. At the top of the temple, sculptures of Uma Maheshwarar, Dakshinamurti, Vishnu and Brahma are found. Meenakshi Amman temple in Madurai and Nellayappar temple in Tirunelveli represented examples of Pandya's architectural styles. Sculptures. The walls of the caves are decorated with a bas relief of the gods and goddess. In the case of structural temples, the walls of the sanctums are free from image decorations. Paintings. Caves at Chittanavasal, 15 kilometers away from Pudukottai, and at Tirumalapuram in Sangarankovil Taluk, Tirunelveli district have outstanding yearly Pandya paintings. Chittanavasal was a residential cave of a Jain monks. They painted the walls with fresco painting. The lotus pond is the notable for its excellent of colors and exposition of the scene. The image of lotus flowers, leaves spread all over the pond. Animals, elephants, buffaloes, swans, and a man who plucks the flowers look brilliant. The Chittanavasal paintings have similarities with the Ajanta paintings. Next one, the early Chola epoch. The early Chola. The Cholas came to in 850 AD under Vijayalaya Chola and continued to govern the region for about 400 years. For the early Chola epoch, the temple of Thadapuram near Dindivanam in Tamil Nadu. The early Chola architecture followed the style of Sembiyan Mahadevi. The early Chola architecture followed the style of Sembiyan Mahadevi. Temples with the increased number of niche figures can be classified as belonging to the Sembiyan style. Tirupparambiam is an example of early temple that was refashioned in the days of Sembiyan Mahadevi. Next, later Chola epoch. The maturity attained by the Chola architecture is reflected in the 2 significant temples of Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram. First one, Tanjavur Big Temple. At the time, the big temple of Tanjavur was constructed. It was a huge temple complex. The 260 feet Vimana is notable as it is one among the tallest man-made ziggurats of the world. The huge bull statue measures about 16 feet long and 13 feet height and is carved out of a single rock. Next, Gangaikonda Cholapuram. Gangaikonda Cholapuram served as the capital, Chola capital, for about 250 years. Until the decline of the Cholas and the rise of Pandyas, the Pragadishwara temple of Gangaikonda Cholapuram, built by Rajendra Chola. The height of the temple is 55 meters. Next, let us see Tarasuram. Tarasuram near Kumbakonam is a later Chola period temple rich in architectural splendor dedicated to Iravadeshwara. Rajaraja II constructed this temple. This temple is another landmark of the Chola architecture. The Mahamandapam is an elaborate structure. A compound wall runs round the temple with the Gopuram. A compound wall runs round the temple with a Gopuram. Next one, later Pandyas. The contribution of later Pandyas to South Indian art was significant. A later Pandya architecture example, Pillayarpatti near Karaikudi, Tamil Nadu. Cave temple at Pillayarpatti belonging to 13th century. This temple is important both for its sculptures and for an inscriptions. A beautiful Ganesha is carved facing the entrance. The importance of the figure referred to Desi Vinayaka in the cave inscription is that there are two arms with the trunk turning to the right. Next, let us see Vijayanagara epoch. During the Vijayanagara period, a new form of construction emerged. It is the Mandapam, to where the gods are carried every year. Pillared outdoor mandapams are meant the public rituals. These mandapams attract attention for its monolithic pillars. On these pillars are sculptured horses, lion, and the goddess. The Kalyana Mandapam at Kanchipuram, Varadaraja Perumal temple, and at Vellur, Jalakandeshwara temple are the notable examples. The main features of the Vijayanagar and Nayak architecture are decorated mandapams, ornamental pillars, life-size images, gopuras, pragaras, music pillars, floral works, and stone windows during the 15th to 17th centuries. The practice of fitting the niches with sculptures continued during the Nayak period. The most celebrated of these mandapams in temple of Madurai is the Pudu Mandapam. The southern festival mandapam of Adinanda temple at Alvar Tirunagari and the porch of the Nellayappa temple at Tirunelveli are other notable examples. Next, the pillars of this period are more decorative than the previous period. Monolithic gigantic yal pillars, horse pillars with life-size portraits of mythological and royal family members, common folk, animals, and floral works were made. Musical pillars were the peculiar features of this time. A sitting line at the top of the pillars is a common feature in the mandapams. Vijayanagar and Nayak paintings are seen at Varadaraja Perumal temple at Kanchipuram. The temples of Sirivalliputtur, Tirunelveli, Alagarkoil, Thiruvannamalai and Srirangam. The paintings mostly have the stories from Ramayana, palace scenes and mythological stories. Next, let us see modern period. The modern period, the Sethupadis as the federates of Madurai Nayaks ruled Ramanathapuram and contributed to the Ramanatha Swami temple architecture. The temple of Rameshwaram is the predominance of corridors. It is claimed that this temple has the longest set of corridors in the world. The temple has 3 sets of corridors. The outer set of the temple corridors has a height of the almost 7 meters and stretches for about 120 meters in both the eastern and western directions. The pillars are decorated by carvings. The innermost set of corridors is the oldest of the 3. The Pallava period featured sculptural rocks. The early Chola period was marked by grand vimanas. The later Chola period was known as beautiful Koburams. Vijayanagar period unique feature was the Mandapam, and the modern period was when corridors were given prominence. Okay, children, go through the textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day.